You swore you had no income? Then explain these weekly deposits.
It's just a hobby.
The judge didn't look at the husband first. He looked at the stack of receipts. There were so many the clerk had to use binder clips just to keep them from sliding off the evidence tray. Thermal paper, faded ink, shipping labels printed on glossy adhesive sheets, screenshots of order confirmations with little product photos beside them, a cartoon candle, a monogrammed baby blanket, a limited drop hoodie, a set of handmade earrings. It looked harmless at a glance. It looked like hobbies until you read the totals. Emily Hill sat at the respondent's table with her attorney, shoulders pulled back, face arranged in practiced defeat. She wore a soft cream sweater and a delicate necklace, the kind of look that whispered, "I'm trying." When Judge Raymond Garvey asked about her income, her voice had trembled on cue. "I don't have any," she'd said. "I've been trying to find work. I'm barely surviving." Across the aisle, Marcus Hill stood beside his, attorney, jaw tight, eyes glossy from exhaustion he couldn't hide. He held the edge of the table like it was the only solid thing left in his life. Because Marcus wasn't asking for extra. He was asking for what the court had already ordered, child support that hadn't been paid in months. His daughter, Lily, had braces scheduled. Their rent had gone up. His paycheck was stretched thin enough to look transparent. Judge Garvey flipped through the receipts slowly. He stopped at one, then another. His eyes narrowed. "Ms. Hill," he said, voice even, "you testified you have no income." Emily nodded quickly. "That's correct, Your Honor." Judge Garvey held up a printout. "This is a weekly deposit report," he said. "It shows deposits of $4,218, $3,905, $5,112 into an account linked to your phone number." Emily blinked. "That's not—" she started. Judge Garvey didn't let her build momentum. "And this," he continued, tapping the next page, "is an online store dashboard showing 187 orders in a 30-day period." Emily's face tightened. Judge Garvey looked up, eyes flat now. "So, help me understand," he said, "how someone with no income is shipping out nearly 200 packages a month." A murmur moved through the courtroom, quiet, stunned, real. Emily's attorney stood. "Your Honor, these figures are gross sales." "Counsel," Judge Garvey cut in, "I'm aware of the difference. What I'm not aware of is why your client claimed there was nothing at all." Emily swallowed hard. Judge Garvey turned another page. "And here," he said, "is the part that makes this a credibility issue." He held up a screenshot of Emily's own message to a customer. "Thank you for supporting my small business," he read. "This week was our biggest launch yet." He set the page down and leaned forward. "Ms. Hill," he said, "this court will not reward deception. Based on the evidence, I am imputing income consistent with these sales and deposits." Emily's eyes widened. Judge Garvey's tone sharpened. "You will pay child support retroactively to the date you filed your broke declaration," he said. "Back support is ordered. Arrears will be calculated today and enforced immediately." Marcus felt his chest tighten, like someone had wrapped a rope around his ribs. Because he wasn't waiting for an apology. He was waiting for oxygen. Judge Garvey didn't stop. "Additionally," he said, "given the intentional misrepresentation, I am ordering attorney's fees and setting this matter for a compliance review. Any attempt to conceal income again will be treated as contempt." Emily's face drained. Marcus stared at the table, eyes burning, trying to keep himself upright. He hadn't walked into court hoping to shame his child's mother. He'd walked in hoping to keep the lights on. And now, in a room that had almost believed Emily's performance, the truth was sitting in the open, printed on thermal paper. "Receipts don't cry." Receipts don't beg. Receipts just exist, and they had just rewritten the whole story. If you're wondering how a woman can claim she's broke while running a thriving online store, how a father ends up collecting evidence like a detective just to get the support his child is owed, how back support gets ordered because someone forgot one thing, that paper leaves a trail. You have to rewind to the beginning, to the moment Marcus and Emily stopped being a couple and started becoming opposing narratives. Marcus Hill met Emily Parker before she was Emily Hill, back when both of them still believed love could be simple. They worked at the same mall in their early 20s, Marcus at an electronics store, Emily at a boutique that sold jewelry and perfume, and those tiny expensive candles people buy when they want their apartment to feel like a magazine. Emily was charming, fast-talking, ambitious, the kind of woman who could convince you a rainy day was romantic if you just leaned into it. Marcus was steady, quiet, the kind of man who listened more than he spoke and remembered details other people missed. They started dating in small increments, a coffee after work, a movie, a late-night drive with the windows cracked, music low. Emily liked how Marcus made her feel grounded. Marcus liked how Emily made the world feel bigger. They married after 4 years. By then, Marcus had moved into facility maintenance, good benefits, reliable paycheck. Emily bounced between jobs, always chasing the next better fit, always talking about starting something for herself. When Lily was born, Emily cried and said, "We made a whole person." Marcus held his daughter like she was fragile and permanent at the same time. He whispered, "I got you," and meant it. For the first few years they were functional, not perfect, but together. Then the stress hit. Emily hated feeling dependent on Marcus's stability. Marcus hated feeling like he was carrying the whole structure while Emily kept rearranging the furniture. They fought about money, about time, about Emily's late nights on her phone, about Marcus's habit of shutting down when conflict got loud. And slowly, something shifted. Emily started saying things like, "I need to find myself." Marcus started saying things like, "We have a child." Emily started seeing Marcus's steadiness as control. Marcus started seeing Emily's freedom as irresponsibility. They didn't explode into violence. They eroded into bitterness. The divorce happened on a Tuesday afternoon with no dramatic scene. Just paperwork, silent packing, and Lily asking, "Why are you both crying?" Emily moved into a small apartment across town. Marcus stayed in the house until the lease ended, then downsized to a 2-bedroom unit closer to Lily's school. They agreed that Lily would live primarily with Marcus because Emily's schedule was unstable. Emily promised she'd get it together and contribute. The court order was modest, $650 a month in child support, plus half of Lily's medical expenses. Emily signed it. She hugged Lily in the courthouse hallway and said, "Mommy's gonna be okay." Marcus believed that meant Emily would pay. He didn't understand that Emily was already building a new story, one where she was the victim and responsibility was optional. At first, Emily paid. Not consistently, but enough to make Marcus think it would level out. Then payments started coming late, then smaller, then not at all. Emily's texts became repetitive. "Can't this month?" "Car broke." "Got laid off." "Trying." Marcus tried to be patient. He didn't want Lily to see her mother as an enemy. He didn't want to become the bitter parent who speaks poison into a child's ears. So Marcus covered the gaps. He took overtime. He skipped his own doctor appointments. He put groceries on a credit card just for this month. Just for this month became months. By the 2nd year post-divorce, Marcus had become a single parent who lived like he was always a week away from collapse. Lily needed shoes, school supplies, a winter coat. He bought them. Emily posted selfies, new nails, new hair, a grindset caption about rebuilding her life. Marcus scrolled past and told himself social media wasn't proof of anything. Then Emily filed a motion, not to pay, to reduce what she owed. She claimed she was broke. She claimed she had no income. She claimed Marcus was doing fine and she needed relief. Marcus stared at the court notice in his mailbox and felt something hot rise in his chest. Relief from child support, from her own child. He called Emily. She didn't answer. He texted. She responded. Hours later, with one sentence. "Stop harassing me. I'm doing my best." Marcus didn't feel like he was harassing anyone. He felt like he was drowning and being told to stop splashing. At the modification hearing, Emily showed up looking fragile. She told the judge she was unemployed. She said she was between opportunities. She claimed she was staying with a friend and barely had gas money. Her attorney asked the court to temporarily lower support to $50 a month until she stabilized. Marcus sat there stunned. $50. That didn't even cover Lily's school lunch bill. Marcus tried to speak, but his attorney at the time, overworked legal aid, warned him quietly. Without proof, the court will lean on what's filed. Emily had filed paperwork. Marcus had frustration. And in family court, frustration doesn't pay for braces. The judge, different judge then, temporarily reduced Emily's support pending review. Not because the judge didn't care, because the judge didn't have evidence that Emily was lying. Marcus walked out of court with his stomach in knots. He didn't just lose money, he lost trust in the system, because he knew in his bones Emily wasn't telling the truth. He just couldn't prove it. Not yet. The proof arrived the way most proof arrives in modern life, through a package. It was a small box delivered to Marcus's apartment by mistake, left outside his door with a pink label and a sticker that said, "Thank you for supporting my small business." Marcus assumed it belonged to a neighbor, but when he looked closer, he saw the return address. It wasn't a warehouse. It was Emily's friend's apartment complex, an address Marcus recognized because Emily had once told him she was crashing there. The name on the label was not Emily's. It was E. Parker Company. Marcus's stomach tightened. He carried the package inside and stared at it like it was a clue from a different world. His first instinct was to return it. His second instinct, stronger, was to take a photo of the label, just in case. Because Marcus had learned that you don't get justice by hoping. You get justice by documenting. Later that week, another package arrived. Same sticker, different tracking label, and then Marcus noticed something else. Emily had been dropping off Lily with a new tote bag, thick canvas, printed logo. "Cedar and lace," Marcus asked Lily where it came from. Lily shrugged. "Mom makes stuff," she said. "She said it's her shop." Marcus's throat went dry. Her shop? What shop? That night, after Lily fell asleep, Marcus typed "cedar and lace" into his phone. A website popped up. Clean design, products, prices, a sold-out section, a social media page with hundreds of followers. And there, in the middle of a grid of perfectly staged photos, was Emily's hand. Distinctive ring on her finger. The same. Tiny tattoo on her wrist she got when they were married. Marcus stared at the screen. Emily hadn't just found herself. She'd built a business, and she'd told the court she had no income. Marcus scrolled. Launch announcements. Drop day. Thank you for 50 orders. Shipping 120 packages this week. Marcus felt his stomach twist. 120 packages. That wasn't broke. That was busy. Marcus took screenshots until his phone storage warning popped up. Then he sat back and stared at the ceiling, because now the story wasn't ambiguous. It was documented, and if Emily was lying to the court about income, she wasn't just hurting Marcus, she was hurting Lily. Marcus did not storm into Emily's life. He didn't post online. He didn't confront her through Lily. He did the thing that felt most unnatural in the moment. He got calm, because calm wins in court. He called a new attorney, Dana Klein, not flashy, not loud, just sharp. Dana listened, asked questions, and said the sentence Marcus needed. "We can subpoena," she said. Marcus blinked. "Subpoena what?" "Payment processors," Dana said. "Bank deposits, platform records, tax filings, shipping accounts, anything that ties the storefront to income." Marcus swallowed. "She'll deny it." Dana's voice stayed steady. "Denial is cheap," she said. "Paper is expensive." Dana filed a motion to reconsider support based on newly discovered income. Emily's attorney responded with a familiar defense. "It's a hobby. Hobby income is minimal." "She's struggling." Dana didn't argue with words. She asked for records. The court granted limited discovery. And discovery is where people who rely on performance start collapsing, because discovery doesn't care how you cry. It cares what you deposited. Here's where the real twist began. The store wasn't under Emily's name. Not officially. It was registered under her mother's, a neat little shield. Parker Holdings LLC, registered to Emily's mum, Marjorie Parker. At first glance, it looked like Emily could claim, "That's not mine." But the receipts didn't just show a store name, they showed operational reality. Dana subpoenaed the shipping account. It showed the pickup address was Emily's friend's apartment. The phone number on file was Emily's. Dana subpoenaed the domain registration. It was tied to an email account Emily used for years, a variation of her name she never changed after marriage. Dana subpoenaed the payment processor. Deposits landed in a checking account that Emily controlled. Not her mother, Emily. Then Dana subpoenaed the boutique supplier records, bulk purchases of packaging, labels, product materials, all billed to a card in Emily's name. If the store was not hers, it was weird how everything followed her fingerprints. When the ETA records came in, Dana built a timeline, a clean one, dates of deposits, dates of Emily's I'm broke filings, dates of major launch weeks. The overlap was not subtle. Emily's largest sales month occurred the same month she submitted a sworn affidavit claiming she had no income. That wasn't a misunderstanding. That was a lie, and the court cares about lies when they affect children. The hearing took place on a rainy Tuesday. Marcus sat at the table with Dana beside him, binder in front of them, hands steady, only because he'd learned to force them steady. Emily sat across, face pale, eyes darting. She didn't look like a woman who had been shipping hundreds of packages. She looked like a woman trying to outact paperwork. Judge Garvey reviewed the exhibits in silence. He asked Emily one question at first. "Ms. Hill," he said, "do you operate an online store?" Emily's voice trembled. "No," she said. "My mother does." "Judge," Garvey nodded slowly. "And do you receive money from this store?" he asked. Emily hesitated. "No," she said again, too quickly. Dana stood. "Your Honor," she said calmly, "may I publish Exhibit 12? Judge Garvey nodded. The monitor lit up with deposit records, weekly deposits, thousands, a consistent stream. Dana pointed to the linked account holder information. "Ms. Hill's phone number," she said. "Ms. Hill's email, Ms. Hill's device login for the dashboard." Emily's attorney stood. "Objection! Foundation!" Dana didn't flinch. "Foundation is in the subpoena certification," she said. Judge Garvey overruled. Emily's composure cracked. "It's not profit," Emily blurted. "It's gross sales. I had expenses." Judge Garvey's gaze stayed steady. "I'm aware," he said, "but you did not testify low profit. You testified no income." Emily swallowed hard. Dana introduced screenshots of Emily's messages to customers. "Thank you for supporting my small business." Judge Garvey held up one receipt. "This is a bulk shipping label purchase," he said. $600 in labels in one transaction. That is not no income. That is a business operating. Emily's eyes filled. "I'm trying," she whispered. Marcus felt anger rise, but he kept his face still, because trying doesn't pay for braces. Judge Garvey leaned forward. "Ms. Hill," he said, "did you knowingly misrepresent your income to reduce your child support obligation?" Emily's mouth opened. Her attorney whispered urgently. Emily's voice came out small. "I didn't think it counted," she said. The courtroom went quiet. Judge Garvey didn't shout. He didn't slam the gavel. He just looked at her and said, "It counts." Then he laid out the consequences. He imputed income based on the verified deposits and business activity. He reinstated support at a higher amount, consistent with that income. He ordered back support, retroactive to the month Emily filed her false affidavit. He ordered attorney's fees, and he set a compliance review date, warning Emily that further concealment would be treated as contempt. When the judge said the back support total, an amount Marcus couldn't even hold in his mind without feeling dizzy, Marcus didn't celebrate. He exhaled, because it meant he could stop living on a cliff edge. Outside the courthouse, Emily approached Marcus, not with rage, with tears. "Marcus," she said, voice shaking. "I didn't mean—" Marcus held up a hand. "No," he said quietly. "Don't." Emily flinched. "I was just trying to survive," she whispered. Marcus's eyes were tired. "So was Lily," he said, "and I didn't get to skip my part." Emily's face crumpled. Marcus didn't insult her. He didn't call her names. He just walked away, because sometimes the harshest truth is simple. You don't get to call yourself broke while you're choosing to make your child's other parent carry the weight alone. The back support didn't arrive in one check. It came in enforcement. Wage garnishment once Emily finally admitted the income. Account levies if she missed payments. A structured arrears plan. It was slow, but it was real. Marcus used the money the way real parents use money. Not for revenge, but for repair. He paid down the credit card debt he'd piled up feeding Lily. He scheduled Lily's braces. He put a small amount into a savings account for emergencies, because single parents learn to fear emergencies like storms. And he did something else that mattered more than numbers. He stopped lying to Lily about why things were tight. Not the adult details, but the emotional truth. One night, Lily asked, "Why do you work so much?" Marcus sat beside her on the couch, TV humming quietly, rain tapping the window. "Because I want you to be okay," he said. Lily frowned. "Am I not okay?" Marcus's throat tightened. "You are," he said gently, "but grown-up stuff got messy, and I'm fixing it." Lily nodded slowly, then asked the question that always comes from children when they sense adult conflict. "Is Mom mad?" she whispered. Marcus exhaled. "I don't know," he admitted, "but you don't have to carry any of that. You just have to be a kid." Lily leaned into him, and Marcus held her, feeling the weight of what had almost happened, how close he'd come to losing stability, because someone chose performance over responsibility. Emily didn't disappear after court. She didn't lose Lily. The judge didn't punish her with separation. Family court rarely wants to sever parent-child relationships over financial deceit. But the court did do something important. It labeled the behavior. It documented the misrepresentation. It put Emily on notice. And it reminded everyone in that room of a truth that matters. Child support isn't a donation. It's not optional. It's not something you pause because you don't feel like sharing your new income. It belongs to the child. Always. If you're watching this and thinking, how could someone lie like that? Ask yourself a harder question. How many people treat the court like it's a stage, assuming nobody will check the receipts? Because the modern world leaves trails everywhere. shipping labels, payment processors, store dashboards, deposits with timestamps, and the mistake Emily made wasn't starting a business. Starting a business is admirable. The mistake was hiding it to reduce what she owed her child. Marcus didn't win because he shouted louder. He won because he documented, because he stayed calm, because he understood that in court, emotions can be dismissed, but evidence can't. And when the judge finally read those receipts out loud, it wasn't just a support order being corrected, it was a child being protected from adult manipulation, one thermal paper proof at a time.